We're here. We're
Hey, good
live.
morning. Good morning, Mr. Ron Carter.
What's up, Brian?
Hey, I love it when you have to get up early and do a podcast with me. It's so exciting.
Yeah. I think this is the earliest that we've ever been on any Zoom call or chatting or anything like that.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm super excited for you guys watching. Welcome to the Mind Design Podcast, episode 3. Um, so every Thursday, even though it's Friday right now.
Yeah, we might be having to, move that around a little bit. I'll talk to you later about it. But
Yeah, and for it's weekly if you're
yeah,
watching
it's
it.
that's a great point right now. So many commitments going on lately. I can't even believe it, but we're all
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. But I wanted to start off just by uh I want to tell this quick story of something that happened for me um
Love that. Yep.
on Wednesday. And it's so funny because we talk all the time about uh really this deeper level of consciousness that we're all kind of welling out of, and that we really are, right? And it's
Yep.
we talk about it. This is how it usually happens for me. I talk about it, and then I end the conversation, and then I go on about my life, and I'm like, yeah, and then I gotta go do this, I gotta go do that, and this has to work out like this, and I gotta figure out a way that I'm gonna make this work, and it's and so this is kind of my normal state, especially when it comes to I'm going to school and business stuff, and that's the mode that I'm normally in. And so Wednesday I had a dentist appointment, and and it was out of town. It was in Santa Barbara. I used to live there, but now I live 30 minutes away. And it was 1 p.m. and it was an important appointment. It wasn't just for a cleaning. I needed to go to it, right, to fix this one tooth that I have, and the a problem tooth. And
Hmm.
so I'm on my way up there, and I'm Ubering up there because my girlfriend has the car, and she's going to work, so I was like, I'll just Uber up there, whatever. And so I decided I want to make it. At first I was grumpy because I was like, oh, this is when I usually do homework and business stuff. I'm gonna be gone all day for this appointment. It's gonna last an hour. I'm thinking of all the things that I don't like, right? And then I was like, you're gonna go up here anyway, so you might as well how could you just enjoy the experience up there instead of
There
be
it
all
is.
mad. And
That's what I
then
love, Ron. You always ask the better question. You figure it out quick, and boom, there it is.
yeah, and then I thought well, you know what? I love Santa Barbara skate park. I haven't been there for a long time. I used to go there a lot to go skating. It's just bring your backpack, bring some water and some couple snacks, and put your skate shoes on, the ones that you don't care about messing up, because skating just tears your shoes up. Bring your skateboard and go up there to your dentist appointment. And then and the skate park is right next to the train station. You could just take the train along the coast back to Ventura and just look out at the ocean the whole way on your whole way home, and just
Great.
make this
So,
a day, you know?
so you asked yourself, how can I make this experience really good?
Right. And so then it turns out I just had a wonderful day. One of my friends that I haven't seen in a long time, he drove to the skate park. We skated together, we hung out, and then I went down to the train station, which was a 5 minute skate. Excuse me, I have to sneeze.
That's okay. Nice, Ron. God bless you.
Thank you.
Hey,
Allergies.
so one thing I just want to say about this, right? So we've trained our minds, right? So if we feel like maybe the challenge is coming over our thoughts, our mind, hey, this is going to be a crappy, shitty experience, maybe a crappy day, but you've already learned, right? Ask better questions, which is so important. So you're asking a better question. And for people listening out there, if you're saying, hey, what do you mean ask better questions? Well, even for Ron's experience, he's saying, well, how could I have a good experience, right? He's asking the question, and your mind will always come up with the answer. Hey, how can I make this enjoyable? So that's
Right.
awesome.
And
So
and
I wanted to do that while you were sneezing.
And sometimes, sometimes I'm not even asking a question, and that's the problem. Um, Sometimes, like what I was doing before I asked, like how could I make this just like an awesome trip up here, even though it breaks the mold in my mind of what I should be doing on a Wednesday, right? Because to me, going out of town to go skateboarding is a weekend activity. It's like that's where that should be on a Saturday or a Sunday, you know, because
Yeah,
be-
yeah,
I don't because I said, it's like that's an
yeah.
arbitrary rule, and I realized that, and so, but before I decided to enjoy this experience, I wasn't asking any questions. I was just summarizing and reaffirming all the things I didn't like, and this is what I mean, I every time I'm in a negative state that doesn't feel good, and then things that happen that don't feel good after that, every time that happens, it's because I'm summarizing and reaffirming to myself all the things that I don't like. It's like I'm deciding to zero in, like what are all the things that are wrong with this situation, and I'm just like laser beam, and then I'm like reading them over and over again, right? So I write them down on a little 3x5 card. These are all the things that are wrong with life and what in my experience right now and that I don't like. And then I'm like, yeah, that's all of it. Then I put it in my pocket, and then a couple minutes later, I'm like, wait, hold up. What's all the? Oh yeah, because like I gotta go here and I gotta do this, and and then I put it in my pocket, and then I take it out and I like remember it, and this is like this weird state that I've been in when it's like when I'm having like problems in business. I've done this where it's like there's a problem and I'm not asking a question on how I could make this enjoyable, how I can grow through that. I'm not asking a question at all. I'm just like, let's state the facts I don't like. And that just puts me deeper into this disempowering state. And but the cool part about this story, though, going back to the story, right? That like the asking the better questions thing is cool, but what it led to was awesome. Um, I get on the train, going home, and I'm looking out. I'm sitting on the side of the train. The train tracks go right by the Pacific Ocean. They're like right next to it, the whole like 20-minute, 30-minute train ride. And I'm just sitting there, like looking out the window. I'm looking at the ocean. I'm looking at the sand below. I'm looking at all the like like growth, like the like plants and things that are growing in between the train tracks and the ocean. And and I was listening to podcasts, and I decided to turn them off. Just like I don't need anything in my ears right now. I'm just like taking this all this stuff in. And and that's when it hit me that like I remembered for like a brief second, like I was like, oh yeah, like today's experience was awesome, and it's because I just let it be. And then like I remembered, like I looked out and I saw the ocean, I saw the sun like starting to set over it, and I was like all of this is awesome. And then I had this like brief moment where I remembered that on like the deepest level I am all of this. And like of course this is awesome. My day every day is awesome. Even when I'm picking out things that I don't like, because like it's just amazing that we're here, like in this form, experiencing these things, even if they're things that I quote unquote don't like. Like how awesome is that? That I get to do that,
Wow.
And
Yeah.
and that was like a really like powerful shift that I've had in the past. But but then I
Actually,
just
too,
sat
Ron,
there.
I believe we talked about that in our first podcast. It's almost like when you get into that moment, right? You're into that moment and you're just living in the moment and your thoughts aren't somewhere else. I got to do this. I have to do that. Bup, 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 bup. You're not in the future. You're not in the past. You are in the moment. So that's really so cool that that happened to you when it did,
Yeah. And
you know?
and I thought about um one thing that I did think about, and it's funny because it's like you're in that moment and then a thought pops up and then you're out of it and you kind of like dance the line where you're going back and forth in between it. Um, Hopefully my internet connection holds up. It just gave me a little thing saying, "Hey,
Yeah, you
internet's
had a
not great."
little glitch earlier, but it's fine now.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Um, but so the first thought that popped up when I was in that state was remembering like my worrisome state at the beginning of the day and how funny that is. Like it's funny because I from that state I can see that being in this worrisome state where I'm recapping all the things I don't like, it's a choice. It's a choice that I made. Like, not saying that there's anything wrong with it. If I choose to have that experience, there you go. It's right there. If I choose
Mm,
to have the experience that I was having on the train ride home, there you go. It's always there. It's a
yeah.
choice. And so I just thought that that was like really cool. And that the choice of being in flow for the day of like, look, this is where my day is taking me, so I'm gonna let it and not fight it, and I'm just gonna like enjoy. Like I was consciously trying to be in the moment throughout the day. I'm like, okay, so we're going up here, and like I went to school in the morning, and then the rest of my day is going up here instead of doing the stuff that I said that I want to do, right? And like I had a call that I would normally have to take, and I was like, I guess we're gonna have to cancel it because like you're doing this other stuff. And so I just canceled it and didn't worry about it, and then went and had fun and stayed in the moment, and then had this like experience again where it's like you're always in the moment. The only time that you're not is when you take yourself out of it, and you can do that if you want. But like this feels
Mm,
way better, you know.
yeah, yeah. That's awesome. That's a great story. And at first, when you first began this story, I said, okay, look at all the principles you just used in mindset that we both know. And it's awesome to see a young person knowing this so early in life. And the great thing is at first I said, okay, where's Ron going? Did he meet Tony Hawk or something? You know who that is, right? He's like my age, right? But
Yeah, that's like the most famous skateboarder in the world.
yeah, okay, good. See that? Uh, that's pretty cool. And I think the great thing about this podcast is we have such different age um, differences that I get a perspective of a young man. You get uh, a perspective of somebody older than you. I don't want to
a
say an old
seasoned,
man, but
a
yeah,
seasoned
that's a
human.
thank you, thank you. So that's awesome, Ron. Um, yeah, I'll share with you an experience with one of my clients that I had over the phone. It was actually a phone call with one of my clients this week, and she's in her 60s. Okay, I'm not going to say any names because
Yeah,
HIPAA and all that. But she's in her 60s, has a pretty good position at a company that she's been with for 40 years. Okay, 40 years. And her question was, geez, I have an opportunity to work literally right under the vice president of the company. And I says, okay, that's great news because that's what we teach, right? We're so driven all the time, at least a lot of the time, with younger people. And then at this point, though, I says, well, let's think about this for a second, and let's just have a good opinion on really what's going on. So I said, well, how much more stress is that going to add to your life? And she was saying, oh, it's going to add a tremendous a lot of stress, right? Because now you've got to learn new um, things with the job, and also you're working right under a big figure in the company, which is very stressful for anybody. Just
yeah.
starting a new job is stressful, right? So her question was, should I take this opportunity? And we looked at it. He says, well, first of all, let's look at how much more money you're going to get. And it was a little bit money, but I said, okay, so now what? It's going to put you in another tax bracket. So are you really going to be making that money? Let's look at it. So when you do the numbers, you're actually making about $100 more a week because now you're in another tax bracket. You're getting taxed more. So for all that stress in your life, do you really want to do what's $100 worth to you of your time? And I said, if it was me, I would not. I would just coast. You got a couple more years. You've been doing this position for over 10 years. You know it well. It's easy. You're on easy street. To me, moments, right now we're going back to the moments. Moments of peace, moments that can keep you in peace is so important when you get older, because you realize when you get older, you don't have to be so driven all the time.
Yeah.
And I think that goes back to you, Ron, where you're like, oh, this is Wednesday, I'm not supposed to be doing this, I'm supposed to be the great creator that I am, pushing for seven figures, right? So it's kind of like we're in the same position where you're realizing, hey, wait a minute, I'm the one setting the rules, you
Right.
know so she had the same thing. And after talking about what's $100 more a week for your time under all that stress, the stress you're going to put your family through, the phone calls continuously. I mean, so I think it's really important for everybody out there, not just the older people in the workforce, but like what, what is the price of not going for it all the time? And I look at it like, well, it's like you have to have an art of not doing as much. And when you take those extra moments, and this is myself included, this year I've tried to take some extra moments for myself, and my productivity actually increase, and so did my income by just doing that. But just because now I'm more relaxed, I'm in a better state all the time, working the cruise, working, whatever deals we're making.
Hmm.
And I think that's a big key, the art of doing less. What
And
what's your opinion on that, Ron?
I think that that's a really good point. Um, Obviously, like how that affects your income is dependent on if you have a fixed income or not, right? Of course, um, but that doesn't um, that doesn't mean that it affects your peace the same way, because you can be on a fixed income and still have it like give you a lot more peace of mind.
Mm,
Your income may not increase or decrease, but you could have more peace of mind, because the show isn't just about like income. It's actually not about that at all. um,
yeah,
and
absolutely right, and it all feeds in. And I think one of the things that I really admired in you is your just drive. You're always like, oh yeah, we're gonna boom, 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 and you're going to school, you're doing, and you just keep going with all these clients, myself included. And it's just you're tearing it up all the time, which is really great to see it. Like when I was younger, I would tear it up all the time, but now I'm like, okay, I've got to learn the art of not doing anything.
and I think that it's really important to, like, especially like if we're coaching people or even if we're just like coaching ourselves, right? um and like in our mind before making decisions, like me before going up to Santa Barbara, like I had a moment where I was coaching myself in my mind, right? And and I think it's really important to always ask the question, like, well, like, what do you want? Like, what do you really want? Like, I ask myself, like, hey, what do I want? Oh, I want this, this, this. The normal answers that I give to everybody, they come up in my head to myself too. And then when they do, then I go, yeah, but what do you really want? And
Mm,
that's like a cool trick question just for coaching. It's not a trick question, but it's like if it supposes that whatever answer that you just got, it's like, yeah, I understand that, but that's not really it. So, but what is it like beneath that? And then so like when we're asking better questions, right? Even to ourselves, like I know how this sequence of questions works for other people, but I also know that it works the same even when I'm asking it to myself. And so like if I'm like all upset because I have to take Wednesday off. Um,
Yeah, that's a that's
when
a
I
tough problem to have.
when I just say it like that, it sounds ridiculous. I'm all upset because I have to take a day in the middle of the week off and just relax and go do things I want. But then I can
Yeah,
ask
yeah,
myself, well,
that's
what do you
funny.
want? And it's like, oh, I want to hit 7 figures. I want to get these new ads up and running. I want to do this. I want to check it, right? And it's like, no, but what do you really want? And it's like
Mm,
the one thing behind all that is like, I want to be able to take time off whenever I want and go do things that I want to do. And
yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
well, guess
Uh,
what? You get to go do that today.
yeah,
you know?
experience. I was gonna say he's looking for freedom, right? We have, think about it. You have people, well, I want this motorcycle or fancy car, whatever it is, right? Convertible, just whatever. And then if you keep breaking it down and breaking it down, what do they really want? They want freedom. I want the feeling of feeling free on my motorcycle, you know? So
Right.
that's what you mean by breaking down. Just keep breaking it down, breaking it down, breaking it. What's the feeling that you want? And now you figure out the feeling you want. Now go experience it, right? Instead of beating yourself up. Oh my God, I'm not working. I'm not
Yeah.
working. Oh my God. Really? You're working on yourself and you're gaining from it and you don't even know it.
Yeah. That's a really good point because this what that experience of just like letting go and letting myself just enjoy the day instead of like overworking and going with the flow of the day, what that led to is like after that it led to that experience of like uh having this deeper sense of the present moment and my connectedness with it. um that's always there even when I am not aware of it. And but then I kind of like took some of that and have been like reminding myself of that in my like morning meditations throughout my day in the evening. And the next day I go to class. I'm in school. I'm in my accounting class, and I see there's a student in front of me. He's always really quiet. He's never answering any of the questions that the teacher is asking. He's always got his laptop, and I see him like he's sitting in front of me, so I can see what's on his laptop. And
I don't
I
want to incriminate you, but there's no exams going on, right?
yeah. And so he's got Facebook Messenger open, right? And I can see him having all these messenger conversations with people. And I was like, is this guy like an appointment setter or something like that? Because like I mean, I see him doing stuff that I do, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
but then on so this day I see Facebook ads manager open, and I see like this whole list of all these different ad campaigns he's running. And then he's like answering the questions in the accounting class too, and he's got his little notebook where he's writing those down, but then he's like going back here and managing some campaigns. I was like, all right, I got to talk to this dude after class. I don't even know why I feel like I got to talk to him, but like but I do. He's like one of the most silent people in the class, but I need to go talk to him. And and so as soon as class was over, I was like, "Hey," and I won't say his name on here, but I was like, "Hey, like, was that Facebook Ads Manager that you have open? I mean, I'm just curious." And he's like, "Oh yeah," and I was like, "What is it that you do?" And and I can tell from how he was talking about what he does that he's kind of new at it. Um, just because, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just like when
Mm.
you first start an electrical business and you're 2 months in, and you're like, "Hey," and somebody says, "Hey, what do you do?" And you're like, uh, I'm kind of like, I'm going around and like I'm helping people out with their like electrical stuff, and because it's like you're not even really sure what you're doing yet, but like you ask me now, and it's like, oh yeah, I own like this electrical business. We do this, and this. We wire up these places, these things, and it's like
Yeah.
very like you're very confident in it because it's like you just know that that's what you do because you've been doing it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so
Okay.
he had an answer kind of like that, right? And I was like, oh, cool. And I don't know, somehow the conversation got around to like him explaining the process a little bit of what he does. And so he's servicing other businesses and he found like his mentor who's teaching him, there's this website that you can go to get leads and they're only business leads, right? Like cuz when you have a business, you have your phone number, your email, all that stuff. It's like public record. Um and where I can go onto this website and I can type in like appliance repair technicians, Los Angeles, and it gives me a list of like 700 appliance repair companies, like their names, their emails, their phone numbers, and these things have been around for a while, right? I've
Yeah,
known them.
absolutely.
Like to be able to like get that information, you pay like a website. But the cool strategy that he shared is that he's like, yeah, so we download the CSV file, which is like just a file with all that information. We upload it into Facebook and we create a lookalike audience. And what that means is Facebook takes all that data from all these people and it says, okay, we're gonna we're gonna find all the like other people, like 1% of the United States, whatever that size is, that is just like these people.
Hmm.
And then and then you can show your ads to that group because
So
you don't.
let me get this straight. So Facebook is doing a lot of the work for you.
That's why I love running ads now.
Yeah. Yeah, you're
But like
crushing it at it
my
too. So
the ads still have to be shown to those people and they still have to react, right? And engage and um but as he's sharing this, I realized I was like, because I already knew that if you try to get these leads lists for other businesses and just call them, like everybody and their mom is calling these people because they're on these lists. you
mm,
know, they're
yeah.
so it's just like how when I get spam calls, I'm not answering any of them because somehow I ended up on a list like this and I'm getting all these calls. I'm like, no. Um, and so, but I was like, but I can build an audience. These are the right people that I want to help, right? But let's let Facebook build a giant pool of people just like them.
Yeah, that's
And
yeah.
and and so that but the whole point of this is I realized that some of my best clients are people who are like work in the trades who want to make like a create another stream of income. There's another guy that I'm working with named Alex and he was working in corporate for a while, like corporate marketing, but in like some like big manufacturing companies. And I used to be in the trades myself. I used to be an aircraft electrician. I
Mm.
know what it's like to work long hours to get projects done,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And like physically get projects done. And so I was like,
Well, Ron,
this is
where,
perfect.
like I have the service business, right? The electrical's a service business is what it is,
Right,
which
service
takes a
based
lot of time,
business.
whether it be my guys or me or whatever the case is. It takes a lot of time. So, like, I want to just go into a little bit of detail of what you just said because it's interesting to me. When you say ads for, say, so for a maybe a certain tool manufacturer that we use a lot of Klein tools. So, would that ad run on my Facebook electrical business, or just to get a little detail on that? Well, while I got you online, how would that work? So I could actually make money selling someone else's product online. Is that is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So um what we would do, like, and this is what I do with clients, like done for you. Like when we started working together, we were like making a YouTube
Yeah.
channel and it shifted since then, right? Like what I do for one-on-one clients. Because there's no way that I could like build out 10 clients YouTube channels at the same time. Building a YouTube channel, it's like that's extensive, right?
It'd
Um,
be challenging. Let's put it that
yeah,
way.
there's not no way. There's always a way. Like I'd have to
Yeah,
hire
yeah.
a lot of people and they'd be doing most of the work and then I would be managing them and it would be very small margins. And that's okay, but that's just not what I wanted to build, right? So
Mm.
and so for Facebook ads, the cool thing is you would start off with like, okay, who am I, like what's the product, right? And who is this for? because with ads and selling somebody else's product, well, like you want to pick a product that sells, right? Like for me,
Yeah,
I'm running ads
sure.
for my own product, so I know who it could help. It could help the people that are just like who I was before I was doing any online marketing, right? Because I'm not in the home service business anymore. I'm not in that industry anymore.
You're not the Maytag repairman
Right,
anymore.
right. And so like
Not that you had a lot of calls, because Maytag is one of our sponsors.
we got to be careful with joking around saying that things are our sponsors. Every time we upload a YouTube video,
Yeah,
there's a little box that said, "Does this include a paid promotion?" And I have to check yes or no. And maybe
yeah, yeah. Keep
uh
checking no. Keep
maybe the
checking.
yeah. I mean, I'm checking no, but I don't want the algorithm to be like, "What about this?"
Yeah.
I doubt it will though. But for all clarification, we are not sponsored by Maytag or anybody else. Um, YouTube. Don't try to pull a
Yeah,
fast one
yeah.
on us. Uh, but so the cool thing is, it's like you pick a product and one that's selling, and then you find out like, okay, well, who was this really for? What problem is it solving for them? And you can just create a new Facebook business page. Like you have one for your electrical business already. Maybe it doesn't make sense for your electrical business to be running ads for something that has nothing to do with an electrical business, right?
Sure.
That actually doesn't make sense to do that. So
Not at all.
what
Yep.
you do is you create a new Facebook business page, um, and that's actually not against Facebook's terms of service. Facebook, this is what Facebook wants you to do for this. You can have as many business pages as you want. Um, for a personal profile, that's against their rules to have multiple personal profiles because it's supposed to be one per person. But business page, people can have multiple businesses, so you're allowed to have as many business pages as you want. And
Oh, that's a great tip. Yeah,
and
because I
so
thought you could only have like two, a business and a personal.
right,
But
you
you're
could
saying
have
we can have
one
more than.
personal,
Yep.
and you can have as many business pages as you want.
Oh, okay. That's
And
interesting.
so and you're running these ads from your business page. And so yeah, so then you have to know who it's for because I don't want to go into all the details of like picking the audience, like
Yeah,
that tip
sure.
that I just shared with like getting
Yep.
the leads and building a lookalike audience. If you already know how to run Facebook ads, you know how to do what I'm talking about. And but that was the cool thing, and the moral of that story is like from being more present and grounded in the moment. Um, like even though I realized like okay, this classmate of mine, he's new at what he does, and instead of just like writing off anything that he has to say, be like, oh, he's not some expert in this stuff, and I was still just in the moment with him and like, oh, cool, like what is it that you're doing? And I'm taking in everything, and he, even though he may be just sharing, like, I guarantee, I don't think that he knows how big of a deal what he shared with me really was, like how much of a big problem that's all. I know other people in my space right now. I had a conversation with somebody who has an offer that's just like mine, and we're friends. And this was like a month ago. We were on Zoom and we were talking about it, and we're really the only two people that I know that offer this done for you. We'll run ads, we'll build your funnel, build your website, help you
Mm.
pick a product uh, to sell. The only two people I know that are actually doing that, and I modeled him because he's been doing it for a year longer than me and did really well with it. And I was like, maybe that's what our done for you should be. But anyways, we're not. So it's kind of like we're competitors, I guess, but
Yeah.
we don't. But we're like we're not like not talking to each other about it. Like we were on a Zoom call, just like bullshitting, the other day,
Yeah.
and and but one of the things he shared, he's like, man, I just realized that it's like the best clients um that I have already have regular businesses. They're just not online. And we don't help them grow their regular business. We help them do this thing because it's what I'm good at. But they're the best clients that I have. They show up, they're willing to invest. They're not like scared about it because they've been doing it already. They know that it takes some time to be able
Mm.
to grow. They're cool with that. And that makes the whole process easier. And then I was like, yeah, it's the same for me too, just it's less hurdles. And then
Ron, one of the things too I want to bring up, because I love throwing mindset things into your stories. So people that are listening can kind of say, okay, wait a minute, what just really happened there, right? So you took an inexperienced guy and a very experienced guy. Okay, you took a guy who really he's just getting into it, and then you took a guy who's extremely into it, making seven figures a year, I believe.
Hmm.
And here's the thing. Here's the magical thing about this. Anyone can become your teacher, and everyone can become your teacher if you just pay attention. And
That's it.
that's the great thing about mindset. Once you have that mindset, anyone can be your teacher. You start appreciating everybody. It's a gift. So that's what's great about your stories. We can relate to it. Okay, that's what really happened. you know,
Yeah, yeah,
Ron didn't say, "Oh, you just don't know this. You're just new at. I'm gonna just blow it off. What does he know that I don't already?" Right? But you said, "No, wait a minute. Let me talk to him." And sure enough, you got another tip.
right. And this tip, it
Pretty
solves
cool.
a big problem. Like like my friend who's like cleared seven figures with this offer already. When we were talking, we were literally trying to figure out. We were asking each other, how do we make sure that our ads are being shown to like certain business owners already, but for this thing? And we're like, yeah, we got to figure that out. And then,
Yeah.
and the cool thing is, we're like, yeah, we got to figure that out. How do we do that? And then, like, I didn't try to figure it out. Like that was like a month ago, you know. But I asked the question, and it was in the forefront of my mind. I'm running ads, and I'm like, the people that I'm showing my ads to, it's not really working that great. How can I like? I know that there's a better way somehow, but
Yep.
and then this guy shows up, and it's like, oh, here's how. And it's
And
like, oh,
yeah,
cool, and
and
I'm aware of it.
there's the magic, right? There's the magic. There's that, what people would say, well, that's the universe again talking to you. But the whole thing is you're aware of it. And once you're aware of that energy, ask that question, it's going to appear. It is going to appear, guaranteed. Just stay aware. And already of having that mindset, I'm going to live in the moment, right? Because you could be on a train, on the Uber ride. You could be thinking, oh, I got to do this, got to do that, got to do that. So now you're missing the opportunity of seeing what a guy's doing in front of you.
Yeah, I could have
Pretty interesting
after
stuff.
after class. I could. This was after class. He was trying to rush out. Everyone's trying to rush out after class and just leave. They're like, all
Yeah.
right, we're done. 2 hours of accounting, we're
Yeah.
done. Out of here. You know.
We're in California. Get our surfboards. Let's go.
And
Yeah.
like and usually I'm like getting out of there too. I'm like, all right, time to go home. We gotta run some ads, we gotta do this, we gotta
Oh, I know you, Ron. Believe me, I know what's going on.
and instead I was like, hey, like
uh,
I literally stopped him and was like, what was going on over there?
yeah.
And like let's just talk about like this for a little bit. And um but what you just shared, I think all of this is a really good example of something that I hear this guy Myron Golden. He's got an awesome YouTube channel if you guys want to check it out. But anyways, I hear him saying this on a lot of his YouTube videos, and it rings really true. And he says, you don't lack abundance. If you feel like you lack abundance, you don't. You lack awareness of the abundance you already have.
Oh, wow. That's so powerful.
Right.
That is so powerful right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if I wasn't aware of the fact that, like, hey, like what I'm learning right now can be like really helpful, not just for me, but to like my friend too, because I'm going to tell him about it, you know,
Mm.
and like then it wouldn't even exist for me if I didn't become aware that my so-called pain in the ass dental appointment that's out of town
Yeah.
was actually like a great opportunity to just like chill out and go do what I want in the middle of the week.
Yeah, yeah,
Then
yeah.
I wouldn't
Hey,
have looked at
by
it
the
that way.
by the way, Ron, did they fix the problem with your tooth?
No, I got referred to another dentist.
Oh, Jesus.
It's So I'm gonna have
So
2 more
the
appointments.
modeling career is still in hanging.
Yeah.
Uh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
So, I mean, but that's just how it goes, and that's okay. What that means is that I'm gonna get 2 more opportunities to go up there. It's gonna be a couple more
I
appointments.
love it.
Yeah.
So after getting referred out, you didn't even blow your top. You're like, all right, I supposed to be here.
Yeah, I
Kept
was
it
at the
under kept it under control.
yeah, I was at the dentist for maybe 25 minutes in total. And so I called the other dentist. I just took care of like the minutia right away because if I didn't, I would be like, oh, now that would be another thing that I'm like, I gotta do. I gotta take this card and call this and make the appointment. It's like just do it right now. Just do it right now.
Yeah, yeah,
And then
yeah,
as soon as that was done, that's when I called my friend and I was like, hey, where you at? Like, let's go to the skate park. And he's like, all right. He's like, I'm gonna come pick you up right now. And I gave him my address, and then I just sat there with my skateboard and like enjoyed the sun for 15 minutes until my friend pulled up. Instead of worrying about let me just Uber
yeah,
over there and then we'll be there at the same time. It's like no, just come get me where I'm at. And
yeah. Well, apparently your friend wasn't too anxious about missing work on a Wednesday.
right.
Uh, the art of doing nothing. I love it.
Yeah, but yeah, it's like it's really cool to be able to just like slow down, breathe, and just enjoy the moment that we have. Like,
Yeah,
and I've been pulling this into different things. Whenever I feel some sort of anxiety, I'm remembering this. I want to tell this story for the podcast, embed it into my mind.
yeah,
We forget things, but people just go our routine again. And like yesterday, I was going to a meeting, recovery meeting, and I'll keep this to have a long story, but I was feeling anxious before going there. I don't know why. Uh, my sponsor was speaking, and I'd asked him to speak, and so he was driving from Santa Barbara down to the meeting, and a bunch of his guys that he sponsors were coming with him, and we were going to get there like 8 minutes early, and I like to get there earlier so I can get there before them and be like, these are your seats, and like like you do when you invite somebody to go speak at a thing, and
yeah,
and so we were going to get there not as early as I wanted to. So I was like stressing about it. And I was like, oh, like we're not doing things the way that I think that I should always do them.
yeah, yeah. Here's Ron
and
spinning out. Hey, all
let me
right.
know in the comments if you're watching this if you can relate to this though, right? There's like the set
Oh
way that
yeah,
you should always do things that you made up. And when you don't do them that way, then you're like, oh, like I'm not. I'm making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and I put the peanut butter first instead of the jelly, and that's not the way it needs to go. And like arbitrary rules, right? And so, like, I'm in the car, quiet, I'm sitting at a red light, and then I remember the experience on the train, and I was like literally, my shoulders just went, and I was like, what? What's the problem? I said, there is no problem. And I looked up, it was an overcast sky. Right then, my girlfriend, she's sitting in the passenger seat. She's like, "Just wish the sun would come out." Right? That's what she says. And then my response is, "Yeah, I get that. But like, there's clouds everywhere. Like, how cool is it that we get to see all these clouds?" And but
Hmm.
like, I just meant it. It's like because
Yeah,
right then I realized like how great. I was like, look, there's clouds everywhere. How freaking awesome is this? We get to just see all these clouds. Like I'm like at a red light but I'm like driving this vehicle, like I move my feet and my hands around, like go plays, like this is amazing, like incredible.
huh,
Um, but it was like and like, I went from like tripping out about stuff that's not even happening to just being like overwhelmingly like grateful and in awe of like the experience of sitting at a red light and looking at the
Yeah,
clouds,
yeah.
you know?
Hey, how did she handle that comment? Wow, look at all these clouds. I love it. They're so beautiful. Did you get like, really? Really, Ron?
Kinda, kinda, but
Yeah,
I was just
yeah,
like,
kind of.
okay, like,
Really, Ron? She looked at you like, okay, Ron's got two heads. But that's cool. That's cool. Yeah.
yeah. But I noticed that she didn't have too much to say about how awesome the overcast is, but I did notice that she didn't continue to pick out things that she's experiencing that she may not like,
Yeah.
you
Again,
know?
right? What are you focusing on, right?
And I've noticed that when I bring that kind of energy to a situation, then it seems that if there's already some negative energy, it seems like it ceases to persist. Maybe
Mm.
my energy isn't reflected back, but it's like the negative stuff usually ends up stopping in someone else's
Wow.
mind, you know?
Yeah. Well, she might not think it's negative stuff, but all
Right.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
where it's
Hey,
like
yeah.
the less expansive stuff. We'll put it that way.
Ron's like, just because you can't see the sun behind the clouds doesn't mean it's not there. Yeah. Yeah. All good.
That's a good one. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Can't see the label if you're in the jar, right?
That's right, man. So I know you got to run pretty soon, right? It's like
Yep.
5 minutes till
I've got, let's see, what time are we at right now? Yeah. Yeah, it's
11:55
definitely getting
your
up there.
time.
Yeah, I've got engagements. So, but this is great, Ron, and
Yeah,
like I said, today, it goes wherever we go, it just takes off, Sometimes I'm sharing some stories and you're throwing some mindset stuff in and just the opposite,
yeah,
so you can have a story. Okay, hey, hold on, let's see what happened here. Well, Ron's teachers was everybody. It could be a janitor, it could be a president of a company. It really doesn't matter. Your teachers are everybody. And once you get into that mindset, you get a lot of great things happen. Once you get aware, like you said, once you live in the moment and again, ask yourself better questions. And if you can't find that, if your question's not working, like, what's great about it? Well, nothing is great about this okay, hold on, what could be great about it? And your mind will always find the answer. It always does. It always does. And
yeah,
that's one thing that's guaranteed from my experiences in my life. But once you're aware of that, once you're aware of asking better questions, wow, does your life change?
yeah. Like dramatically. Once
Mm,
you're aware that you do that and it works, because now it's just a solid belief. It's like I know. Once you get to the point where you know that you ask better questions and then you get better results. It's
yep.
not just something that sounds good because you're watching it on YouTube and you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna try that out," but you do it and then you see it and then you know that it works.
Mm.
It becomes like a different, like me asking myself better questions. I don't have to think about it anymore. It just happens.
Right,
And
exactly. Ron, I've heard this too before. 21, what is it? 21 days to change a habit. Have you ever heard of that? It's like 21 days you can change a habit. I think it's 21 days. I don't
21
know.
days to create a new habit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think
I
it's like
mean,
it's a little bit longer to like lock it in.
yeah.
I
So
think it
to
might be like
change,
45 or something.
yeah. So people listening out there, look, if you just believe us on this. If you ask yourself better questions, just ask yourself better questions for 21 days, right? We say 21. You think you could do that 21 days, ask better questions, and I promise you will get some serious results.
Yeah, I think like one way to look at it to make that task seem even easier is ask yourself what was great about today at the end of the day today. And you don't even have to believe us.
Wow.
Like, don't believe us. Just do that
Yeah.
and see what happens. You know, like,
Don't believe us, but ask the question.
like just what I'm saying is like just thoroughly investigate it yourself. You don't have to take our
Yeah.
word for it.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. That's a whole other thing we can get into, journaling. Maybe on the next podcast. At the end of the day, journaling. What was great about today? And you'd be surprised.
Yeah, 'cause that's
Even
like
when
the
you wake up in the
simplest.
morning, what's going to be? Yeah, gratitude. Gratefulness. All that. It just plays in. And the funny thing about, I don't know. Some people call it the universe. Whatever. Whatever you want to call it, right? God, creator, universe. When you start living that life, it's amazing what happens in your life to show you the road that you're supposed to be on. And I want that for everybody. I want that for everybody.
Yeah, the universe will, or whatever, it will
Mm,
conspire for you.
right on, Ron. Right on.
Things shift and move around for you in ways that you couldn't.
Yep.
I would have never thought to ask the guy in my accounting class that seems like he's brand new for help with my business, and I didn't, but he
Yeah.
gave it to me. you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and and so like that's what I mean, right? But I know you got to run, Brian. I don't want to hold you. It's
Right
noon.
on, Ron.
We hit the hard
Hey,
stop.
you have a great weekend. Always a pleasure, Ron. I hope you can have a great morning and, get out there and how's the
You
waves
too,
over there? You
brother.
surfing at all?
They've been kind of small lately, so I haven't been out there. But we're probably gonna go to the beach this weekend. We're gonna go down to Malibu,
Nice.
I think.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
great. I'm on the East Coast, Ron's on the West Coast, and we're both doing our best with surfing.
yeah. When there's no waves, I go to the skate park and I surf on the concrete.
Yeah, makes it
Yeah,
more exciting, especially when you land.
yeah. All right, guys. We'll see
All
you
right,
next
Ron.
week. This is weekly. We try to do it Thursdays at 4, but sometimes schedule permitting. So look, if you want to see the stuff when we're live, just make sure you subscribe, and that way you'll get notified when we are live. But see you guys. See you, Brian.
Save the world.